Let me ask you something. When you picture a dog that's the very definition of fearless, powerful, and totally badass, which breed comes to mind? Maybe you're thinking of the Rottweiler, or the Doberman, or even a modern-day pit bull. But what if I told you that centuries before those breeds became famous, there was a dog so fierce, so legendary, that it literally shaped laws, sports, and even the evolution of other breeds? That dog was the Old English Bulldog, and today, I'm going to give you 7 jaw-dropping facts that prove the Old English Bulldog might just be the original badass of the canine world. So buckle up, because history is about to get wild. Fact number 1. The Old English Bulldog was bred for blood. I'm talking about bull baiting, a brutal spectacle where dogs were unleashed on a chained bull to attack, dodge horns, and try to bring the mighty animal to the ground. It was a sport so dangerous that only the strongest, toughest, and most determined dogs could survive, let alone win. These bulldogs weren't pets lounging on velvet sofas, they were warriors bred for battle. They had massive jaws, stocky frames, and a temperament wired for one thing: never backing down. And while bull baiting is thankfully illegal today, it left a lasting imprint on the bulldog's fearless spirit, making them one of the toughest breeds to ever walk the earth. Fact number 2. The Old English Bulldog's bite could crush bone. Literally, records from the 1600s and 1700s South describe bulldogs gripping bulls by the nose and hanging on for dear life, refusing to let go even as they were tossed through the air. Their jaws were like living bear traps, designed to lock tight and endure insane pressure. Historians estimate some bulldogs could exert over 300 pounds of pressure per square inch. Think about that. Enough to shatter bones or pierce through thick hide. This was no ordinary dog, this was a living weapon, forged through generations of selective breeding for power and tenacity. Fact number 3. The Old English Bulldog was so feared that laws were created because of them. In 19th century England, public bull baiting became such a violent, chaotic event that Parliament had to step in and ban it in 1835. But here's the wild part. The law wasn't just about protecting animals, it was partly about public safety. People were getting injured trying to watch these fights, and riots often broke out when dogs got loose or bulls charged into crowds. The government recognized that keeping bulldogs as purely fighting dogs was dangerous for society, so the Cruelty to Animals Act wasn't just a win for bulls, it marked the end of the Old English Bulldog's reign as a blood sport champion. Fact number 4. The Old English Bulldog nearly went extinct because they were too good at what they were bred for. Once bull baiting was banned, demand for these muscular warriors plummeted. Suddenly, people didn't want ferocious fighting dogs, they wanted gentler companions. The Old English Bulldog's fierce traits were out of fashion. Their numbers dropped so fast that by the late 1800s, the original bloodlines were on the brink of vanishing completely. It's one of the saddest twists in dog history. A breed that dominated arenas for centuries almost disappeared because the world changed overnight. But their badass legacy would live on in ways nobody could predict. Fact number 5. The Old English Bulldog gave rise to entire new breeds. When bull baiting ended, breeders started crossing bulldogs with other dogs to create animals better suited for different jobs or for gentler temperaments. One result was the modern English Bulldog we know today, shorter, more docile, and bred more for companionship than combat. But another outcome was the emergence of breeds like the Bull Terrier and even the American Bulldog, which inherited the Old English Bulldog's strength and courage. In a way, every bulldog-type breed walking around today carries a piece of that original badass DNA from the Old English Bulldog. Fact number 6. The Old English Bulldog was a working-class hero. Back in the day, owning one of these dogs wasn't just about blood sport, it was a symbol of pride for England's working class. Bulldogs were fiercely loyal, protective, and tough as nails, qualities that mirrored the people who bred and raised them. Blacksmiths, butchers, and dock workers saw bulldogs as reflections of their own grit and determination. They were family guardians, status symbols, and even partners in shady underground betting rings. Owning a bulldog was like saying, "I'm strong, I'm fearless, and I'm not afraid of a challenge." That's the kind of cultural icon the Old English Bulldog became. Fact number 7. The Old English Bulldog is making a comeback. It's still a badass. In the 1970s, dedicated breeders set out to recreate the Old English Bulldog, not as a fighting dog, but as a healthy, athletic companion with the classic look and rugged spirit. This modern Old English Bulldog, as it's often spelled, is more agile, breathes better, and has fewer health problems than the overly exaggerated modern English Bulldog. Yet they retain the muscular build, broad chest, and unmistakable confidence that defined their ancestors. Owners say these dogs are affectionate, goofy, but absolutely fearless, a reminder that the badass blood still runs strong, even centuries after the original breed's heyday. So, is the Old English Bulldog the original badass? Absolutely. This was a dog bred for combat, whose bite could crush bone, whose very existence inspired laws, and who left behind a legacy that still shapes dog breeds today. But there's something even more badass about them: their survival. Because despite nearly disappearing from history, the spirit of the Old English Bulldog refused to die. Today, in living rooms and backyards around the world, their descendants still carry that same courage, loyalty, and larger-than-life personality. And that's what makes them not just the original badass, but a living legend. If you've enjoyed this dive into Bulldog history, stick around for more stories that prove dogs aren't just pets, they're warriors, heroes, and sometimes, pure legends. Don't forget to share this video with every Bulldog lover you know, because these dogs deserve to be remembered and celebrated as the original badasses of the canine world.